Hello beautiful bibliophiles, hope you're doing well. Today I'm very excited because we'll be doing something different. Most of the time we talk about what books we've read or what books we're planning on reading, but today we're doing the exact opposite and we're talking about what books we're never planning on reading because this is the anti-tbr tag. Now, I'm obviously not trying to be harsh, we're not trying to offend anyone, we're not trying to we're not trying to throw any shade. If I don't want to read some of your favorite books, that's okay. You probably don't want to read some of my favorite books either. So don't take it personally, don't be offended, be chill. Books are something we are allowed to have our own different personal opinions on, and that's like the cool thing. Like, I don't want to read something you want to read, and you don't want to read something I want to read, and we can exchange opinions about that. And that's the fun part. So like, be chill throughout this video. Original creator's video will be linked in the description below, as well as the questions, so you can do this yourself if you want to. And now let's get right to the questions. First question is a popular book everyone loves but you've no interest in reading, and I have so many answers for this that are like gonna come up when I'll be doing the questions that are coming up, so I'm just gonna say a couple. Midnight Sun, I have no interest in reading that. I read the first book of the Twilight series like 6 years ago, but I've heard that Stephanie Meyer, or whatever her name is quite a problematic author. I didn't even enjoy that book when I read it, and I was at this age where like, if you don't enjoy it, like, it's not like you're gonna read it later in the future and enjoy it, right? So I'm not gonna read anything in this whole Twilight Spectrum series thing, and also a newer one, From Blood and Ash. That's a fantasy romance series that, like, at first I was like, okay, it could be okay, like, fantasy romance doesn't sound that great to me, but why not? And then like, I read some reviews about it, like I saw a lot of booktubers that I trust reviewing it and saying that it was not that good, so yeah, we're not reading that. I really like this second question, which is a classic book or author that you've no interest in reading. And I think this is very interesting because if you asked me this question like a couple of years back, I'd have so many answers for this, but since then I've been getting into so much classic literature that like right now I just feel like I want to try out quite a lot of classic literature, so I'm very cautious with my answers for this. Like, I don't think I want to read anything else by Henry James. That's his name, right? Henry James. He wrote The Turn of the Screw, and I know a lot of people like this and think that it's like a really good classic horror book or whatever, but like, I really didn't enjoy it. The writing felt so unnatural, especially at the scenes where there were characters speaking to one another. It was like, one character was like, "This happened," and the other character was like, "So this happened? Yes, this happened. You're trying to tell me that this happened. Oh, indeed it happened." And I was like, you're not saying anything. Like, they were talking, but they weren't saying anything. And I was so agitated. And yeah, I just didn't see anything like horror-wise that was worth it in that book. Like, it didn't make me feel any sort of way. So yeah, I don't want to read anything else about Henry James because that book I gave 2 stars to. Really bored me. Yeah, Henry James, not a fan. And I also don't think I'll ever read Moby Dick. Has anyone ever read the book voluntarily? Like, I know that like in the US I've heard that you read it for school or something, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone has ever read this voluntarily, and I'm not gonna make the exception to this. Maybe it's like this cool environmentalist book about this whale. I think we're supporting the whale in this book, so it could be environmentally wise like a good book, but yeah, I've no interest in reading that. So let's move on to the next question. The next question has 2 parts kind of. It says an author and a problematic author you've no interest in reading, and I think some of the authors that I mentioned before the problematic author are also problematic, but I don't have that many sources to investigate to that, so we're just gonna mention them. And yeah, I've heard some of them are also problematic, so do have that in mind, perhaps. Authors I don't want to try are gonna be a shock for a lot of people because they're very beloved authors. One of them is Cassandra Clare. Yeah, I know you can cast the first stone, but She has so many books out, and there are so many books in this whole Shadowhunter series and universe, and I know she has other trilogies that are good, that are not in that universe, and you can read them independently, but I just have so many books that I want to read in this lifetime, and just spending so much time with this popular series just doesn't sound that intriguing to me. Like, they don't intrigue me that much, so I think I'm gonna skip those. Like, it's gonna be those books that everyone else has read and I'm missing out on, but I'm okay with that because I want to read so many other books in this lifetime. Also, again, this is gonna come as a shock, Brandon Sanderson, because I know the fantasy he writes is like too high and like organized, like, and hardcore for me. It's like this really hardcore fantasy that I don't enjoy reading. I don't enjoy it when fantasy has this very, very super, very organized system to it and world building to it. I like more, you know, more light things in fantasy, like The Raven Cycle, and just those kind of fantasy books that are like more simplistic and like, you know, just hazy fantasy, you know what I mean? Like Night Circus kind of thing. Yeah, so Brandon Sanderson is probably a no-go for me, as well as Robin Hobb, because again, I've heard that those fantasy series are like high fantasy and like very complicated fantasy, so I don't think they're for me. Now to the problematic author. Again, I've heard that maybe like Cassandra Clare and Brandon Sanderson are also problematic, but I haven't found enough sources to like prove that and like be certain of what I'm saying, so I'm not sure what I'm saying. But I know for sure that the next author I'm gonna mention is definitely problematic. And again, you can cast the first stone because I know you'll love her, but it's Sarah J. Maas for me. Sarah J. Maas. I'm not gonna read her books because she says a lot of like problematic things, like in interviews, like recently with the situation in Palestine, she said a lot of things. First as a Zionist, yeah, not very cool. And also she does a lot of problematic things with her characters in her books, like she's depicting them in very problematic and toxic relationships without condemning that. If anything, she like thinks those are like okay relationships to be in, I suppose, and she's not treating like mental illnesses very well, I've heard. And yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people love her, but I also know a lot of things she's done in her books I find problematic, so I don't think I'm gonna read anything by her. That dog barking is probably a Sarah J. Maas fan. Yeah, I'm already being attacked. Question is an author you've read a couple of books from and you think that their books aren't for you and you're not gonna read anything else by them. For this question, I also have an answer that will hurt people. Rainbow Rowell is my answer because I read both Fangirl and Eleanor and Park, and I really disliked both of these books for different reasons. Like Fangirl, I just didn't like the representation of a fangirl. I understand a lot of people do because it's the first ever representation of a fangirl writing fan fiction in a book, but I thought it was pretty boring, and it was a lot about romance with this other guy, and the dynamics between the relationships have become pretty predictable, like after that got published. So maybe I was too old when I read it, honestly, because I read it like last year or the year before, and most people like start YA books by reading that, so maybe I read it at the wrong time, but I really didn't like it, and it was a struggle for me to get through it, honestly. And also Eleanor and Park, I didn't like the rep of either Eleanor or Park. I thought it had some like cringy lines in it. Yeah, I don't know, it really didn't do it for me, so I don't think I'm gonna read anything else by her. I don't think any other title by her intrigues me either, so I think we're good. What else do I have? I have this Lauren Oliver woman. Yeah, that's her. She's written Before I Fall, which I've read and didn't really enjoy. No. It had an interesting concept that a lot of YA books have copied since that, but yeah, I didn't like the execution of it. And then she's written the Delirium trilogy, which I read all 3 books from that series, but I only enjoyed the first one. I feel like the series really went downhill after the first one, so yeah, I didn't enjoy that either, so I'm not gonna read anything by her again either. Oh my god, I'm feeling so like mean today. I feel like I'm only saying mean things, but like I'm just saying that I have no interest in reading these books or these authors, so I'm not really being mean. I just feel like I'm being mean, so I don't know. This tag feels weird. Let's go to the next question. Question number 5 is a genre you have no interest in reading, and again, if you asked me a year ago, I'd have more things to say. Like, I thought I'd never read romance because I'm not very interested in it, especially when it's like fantasy books or sci-fi books. I'm like, why is there so much romance here? But I feel like I'd want to try like romance books to see whether I like them. I'd like to try the Brown sister series, like Act Your Age, G.V. Brown is the last one, and then there's like the other books in it. I don't remember the titles, but they sound like cool to start with, or some female romances, like the montage of falling in love sounds cool. So yeah, maybe I'll try romance, so this can't be my answer. I'm guessing like my answer is like, again, really organized fantasy, like the ones that have this very strict world building and you have to learn all the names and the breeds and the kings, and yeah, that I think that's gonna be my answer because I don't have any other answer. So question number 6 is book I've bought that I'll never read. I don't have an answer for this. Even if like I don't enjoy a book that I have bought, I still like read it. Like even if like I've bought it and it's been a while and I look back at it and I'm like, I'm probably not gonna like you, I still read it because I paid for it, you know. So yeah, I always try out the books I buy so far, so I don't have an answer for this. Question number 7 is a series you've no interest in reading or a series you've started but have DNF'd. A series of no interest in reading that I haven't already mentioned, that the previous questions haven't already covered, are the Selection series. It sounds like something I wouldn't have enjoyed, like back at the early dystopian YA days, like 5 years ago. This could have been my jam, but I'm too late for the party. And also Red Queen, again, I'm too late for the party. I don't think I would enjoy that. I don't think it has anything to offer to my fantasy reading, because I've moved past that, I think. So those are the series I'm not planning on reading. And series of DNF'd, I have a lot series of DNF'd. I made an entire video about them that I'm gonna be linking down below if you want to check that. But Vampire Academy I never finished and don't want to. Vampire Diaries I never finished, I don't want to. I read the first book and I hated it. The Me Before You series, yeah, I shouldn't have even read the second book. Me After You, shouldn't have read that. Yeah, those are a few series I've DNF'd, and there are a lot more in the video link down below. Final question for today, which I don't really have an answer for, is new release you've no interest in reading. And I was searching for this for quite a while because I honestly didn't have any in mind, so kind of go with Cassandra Clarion and say Chain of Iron because I feel like I'm the only one who hasn't made a vlog about this book yet because I'm the only one not reading it. That was my anti-tbr tag for today. I'd like to say that maybe I'll be rethinking some of this, but I made very strict and like to the point answers to each question exactly because I didn't want to have to say that I'll be rethinking some of this, because I know I want to read too many books in this lifetime, and I don't have time for these ones which I'm not even interested in, right? So yeah, I will not be rethinking any of this, at least with the mindset I have now. So again, if I included your favorite book somewhere here, which I probably did because I did mention Sarah J. Maas and Cassandra Clare and Brandon Sanderson and Robin Hobb, forgive me, like I didn't do it on purpose to hurt you. I'm just generally not interested in reading these books, and that was what the tag was asking me to say, which books I'm not interested in, right? So don't be mad, be chill. I love you all. We're all entitled to our own bookish opinions, so don't be mad. I love you. I love that you have your favorite books and you're supporting them. So, right? There's no trouble here. No bad blood, right? Oh, do you remember when Taylor Swift had a song called that? God, I'm old. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day or night if you're watching this at night. Please comment down below which books are on your anti-tbr tag, because I'm very interested to know, So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another bookies video. Bye!